The golfing world has been split into two factions, following the ongoing feud between the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Series and the PGA Tour, which has led to some serious drama, with Rory McIlroy accusing PGA defectors of taking the easy way out, and much more. We have a lot to talk about. In today's video, we will be going over the latest updates in the world of golf. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, taking the easy way out. Rory McIlroy, while speaking at a news conference Tuesday ahead of this week's US Open at the Country Club, said that he was disappointed that some PGA Tour players took the easy way out and joined the rival LIV Golf Invitational Series, and how six-time major champion Phil Mickelson helped create the new circuit. He also said that he understands why aging players are tempted by millions of dollars in signing bonuses from LIV Golf, but that he believes younger ones who left made a short-sighted decision by defecting. While McIlroy said he didn't lose respect for Mickelson as a player, noting that he became golf's oldest major champion at the age of 50 at the 2021 PGA Championship at Kiawah Island. He didn't like how Mickelson handled his defection to LIV Golf. He seemed most disappointed that several players who had previously pledged their loyalty to the PGA Tour, including Dustin Johnson, Brian DeChambeau, and Pat Perez, changed their minds. At the Genesis in February, McIlroy said that LIV Golf looked dead in the water after many of golf's top players said they weren't leaving the PGA Tour. He also said he understood why families and friends of victims of the terrorists' attack on September 11, 2001 would be upset that Mickelson and other players are accepting hundreds of millions of dollars in signing bonuses from LIV Golf, which is being financed by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. While he said it was difficult to separate sports from politics and dirty money from clean money in today's world, he understands why the 9/11 survivors and families of victims are upset. However, McIlroy stopped short of saying they were involved in sports washing for the Saudis. At least for now, it seems that McIlroy doesn't seem willing to join the LIV circuit. Glad to know that some golfers are sticking to their roots. Next, rejecting the invitation. A group of nearly 2,500 survivors of family members killed or injured in the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 have written an open letter to PGA Tour members to thank them for remaining loyal to the tour and not supporting the rival LIV Golf Invitational Series, which is being financed by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. In the letter, which was released on Wednesday, the survivors described themselves as the spouses, children, parents, and siblings of those who died and who were injured in the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which killed nearly 3,000 people. More than 20 PGA Tour players, including former major champions Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and Brian DeChambeau, have signed with LIV Golf and received signing bonuses between as much as $100 million to $200 million, according to published reports. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan suspended 17 players who competed in the inaugural LIV Golf tournament outside of London without a conflicting event release. The first LIV Golf event in the United States is scheduled to start June 30th at Pumpkin Ridge in Portland, Oregon. Other 9/11 survivor groups have accused the players who defected to LIV Golf of being complicit in Saudi Arabia's sports washing efforts. The letter also detailed other human rights violations, including the Saudi monarchy's alleged involvement in the murder of Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi, a U.S. citizen. Some of the players who have signed with LIV Golf lost longtime sponsors after defecting. KPMG, Workday, and Amsdale Light ended their deals with Mickelson. Callaway, his longtime equipment sponsor, paused its relationship with him. The Royal Bank of Canada halted its business relationship with Johnson and Graham McDowell, and Rocket Mortgage ended its sponsorship with DeChambeau. And now, competing at the Open, players involved in the LIV Golf Invitational Series will be allowed to compete at the 150th Open Championship at St. Andrews next month. The R&A announced Wednesday the decision follows the USGA allowing players who have joined the LIV Golf Series Series to play at this past weekend's U.S. Open. England's Matt Fitzpatrick won the major at the country club. Sources say that the PGA Tour has plans to respond to the direct threat of LIV Golf, which has now signed 8 of the top 50 players, introducing a revamped schedule that will include increased purses worth at least $20 million at 8 existing marquee events. The Tour's Players Advisory Committee and board have yet to approve the changes. PGA Tour members were told of the plans in a meeting at the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut on Tuesday. Up next, Double or Nothing. The KPMG Women's PGA Championship is doubling the size of its purse to $9 million, another boost to the women's game that brings prize money to the 5 majors to nearly triple the amount from a decade ago. The increase in prize money for the LPGA Tour's second oldest major is a 300% increase from 2014, the year before KPMG and the PGA of America partnered with the LPGA Tour to raise the prize money and the profile by taking it to fabled courses. The Women's PGA Championship starts Thursday at Congressional Country Club, which has hosted the U.S. Open 3 times. The winner will get $1.35 million. The USGA signed up a presenting sponsor for the U.S. Women's Open, nearly doubling the prize money from what already was the largest of the LPGA majors. Minjee Lee won $1.8 million from a $10 million purse earlier this month at Pine Needles. The Amundi Evian Championship in France already announced a $2 million increase to $6.8 million, while the AIG Women's British Open has seen steady increases with a new title sponsor and now is up to $6.8 million. The Chevron Championship had a $5 million purse, nearly $2 million more than the previous year. That brings prize money for the 5 majors to $37.3 million. And in 2012, the same 5 tournaments had a combined prize money of $13.75 million. The KPMG Performance Insights was launched last year to give the women a trove of statistics to help advance their games. LPGA Tour Commissioner Molly Marcoux-Samaan delivered the news to her players in an email Tuesday morning, and it got plenty of attention. Since KPMG became a sponsor, the Women's PGA has gone to Hazeltine and Olympia Fields, Aronimink, and Saheeli, all courses that have hosted men's majors. Nelly Korda is the defending champion, winning last year at Atlanta Athletic Club to reach number 1 for the first time. This is a very big day for the LPGA, for women's golf, and for women's sports, and it's good to see that female athletes in the sport of golf are getting the just attention they deserve, and now responding to the threat. In response to the LIV Golf threat, the PGA Tour hopes to introduce a revamped schedule that will include increased purses worth at least $20 million in at least 8 existing marquee events and 3 new events in a global golf series that will include no cuts, limited fields, and purses of at least $25 million. The details are still being finalized and are subject to change, the sources said, but the overhaul of the PGA Tour schedule is expected to be approved for 2023 as LIV Golf continues to pluck former major champions and other players from the Tour's roster of members. PGA Tour members were informed about the plans in a meeting at the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut. The Tour's Players Advisory Committee and its policy board would still have to approve the changes. There were more meetings scheduled for Tuesday. The Tour is also returning to a calendar year schedule instead of a wraparound schedule that is currently being used. Top players have complained of there being no true off-season. If they don't play in events in the fall at the start of the wraparound schedule, they're far behind in points when they return to action after January 1st. According to sources, the increased purses would include existing tournaments, such as the Century Tournament of Champions, the Genesis Invitational, Arnold Palmer Invitational, the Players Championship, the Memorial Tournament, and others. Sources said the increased purses would be paid from sponsors or the Tour's reserves. Additionally, 3 new international events, which would include no cuts and as many as the top 60 players in the previous season's FedEx Cup standings would be introduced. The events would not have anchor cities and would move around like the major championships, according to sources. It's understandably difficult to combat the bonuses promised by the LIV Series. Hundreds of millions of dollars just for signing up is something that the PGA just can't afford to offer. If they want players to remain interested, the PGA will need to become the best place to play for the best players in the world. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on the rivalry between the PGA and the LIV Golf Series? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.